Hello and welcome to May 30th, 2022. I'm Kurt and this is my daily Good Life meditation video, an exercise that I perform each and every morning shortly after waking up to remind myself of my life objectives and principles and to see how I did applying them yesterday, particularly to the challenging moments, and to plan for the coming day. Getting a little later start than usual, so I had the dogs. We wound up doing stuff. So the whole calendar's a little bit off, or the whole schedule a little bit off. It's interesting how that gets you out of sorts, just a little bit. First of all, yesterday and last night, I slept pretty good. I woke up just a couple of times in the middle of the night, and then most notably in the last half hour before the alarm went off from 4:30 to 5. Pretty much fully awake, sitting there, thinking about my challenges at work. I came up with a plan, something that I'm going to do this morning after this is all done, to help to alleviate some of my worry. You know, I worry less when I get on top of things, and I just need to get on top of one thing in particular. And I'll do that this morning. Otherwise, it was a pretty straightforward day yesterday. Yumiko is still recovering from her COVID vaccine. We both got that on Friday, and it took us a little. She got hit pretty hard. It pretty much took her out for the weekend. Me less so. I was dizzy a little bit shortly after the vaccine. We hung around the drugstore where we got it, and I felt dizzy. Felt dizzy still spell for just a little bit. Had to sit down. And then after that, just mild, unease, or not unease, just mild feeling of sickness on, that would have been Saturday, yesterday. Not bad though. I think I'm on the mend, so to speak. Interesting, a dry run for the real fight, right? Putting in, bits of the virus, fool my body into putting up a fight. Good job, science. Otherwise, it was a pretty good day. I wouldn't say yesterday was a great day. Got our shopping done. Yumiko and I went to a fish place for lunch. Super expensive, like $25, $30 per plate. We didn't expect that. So we got simple items, and we still wound up spending $40, more than 40, like 44, out the door. More than we like to spend on just a routine Saturday shopping trip lunch. And food was good, healthy. So that was good. Kind of wish we'd done the pho place. Anyway, yesterday was a typical arc. Challenging in the morning through the day, and then really nice in the evening. We had a nice evening together. Emily's still gone. She'll be coming back tonight. Okay, let's do the good life. 7 objectives and 30 principles, as follows. My first objective is to be always ready to die, to have my life in such a state and in order that if I were to die today, right now, I'm not leaving too much problem behind for my family, and my relationships are in good shape, and my life's work is as complete as can be. And it is. I actually encountered a great quote yesterday from Dr. Johnson that I used with the last principle, which is the second to last principle. Nothing is enough. It's a very good quote. I wish I could remember it. So I plugged it into the book. So it's in good shape. My relationships are in good shape, and my life's work, my affairs are in good shape. They could be a little bit better. I'll continue to work on that. Number 2 is to make good, and effective use of my time, not to waste my days. Number 3 is the development, and maintenance of good and sound life principles, to have good principles to use to help me to achieve my life objectives. Next is the cultivation of good emotional reactions, to react well to the circumstances and the challenges of life. Next is the performance of good actions, doing good things throughout the day. Excuse me, I've got something in my throat. I apologize. Next is the recognition of true limits and true opportunity. Seeing what is within my possibility of my doing and what is not. And then lastly is one thing slowly. To do just one thing at a time and to do that slowly and deliberately. Now my 30 principles. Number 1 is the principle of war. To always be fighting against what I think is true and what others propose to me is true, especially if those things are important or seem to be important. Number 2 is the principle of reason, and there's sub-principles of honesty, objectivity, and doubt. Reason is the way that I apprehend the world and the way that I make decisions about what is true and what may not be true. 3 is the homunculus, the suggestion that, I don't know why I just can't talk, but there's something in my throat. And it's not something like there's something in my throat, it's just something's wrong. Excuse me. Maybe that's better. I do apologize. That's awfully not very appetite. I do apologize. Number 3 is I feel better, the development and maintenance, the homunculus, the little more reminder that I don't have a soul, that it appears that I don't have a soul, but I do have a consciousness that I will spend my life endeavoring to make good use of. 4 is the Anchorhold, the reminder that my consciousness is trapped within me and won't escape my death. Number 5 is the home of good and evil, the suggestion that right and wrong and good and evil are concepts that live within us. They don't exist outside of us. And as a result, there are responsibilities. Next is the principle of purpose and the sub-principles of biology, virtue, and mission. I use the word biology to refer to the purpose that I have, my first purpose, my only, mandated purpose, which is to get my genes into the next generation, to raise a child successfully, at least one. And, and then all the superstructure that associates with that, having a spouse, a good spouse, and creating a home, even if it's a movable home, rebuilding home after home, and all that goes along with that to provide that sort of support apparatus for our child, our daughter. And then the other purpose is to be a virtuous human being, helping to improve the well-being of thinking creatures. And then finally, the purpose of sharing my life's work, which is this book, Going Alone, which is the chronicle of the story of my experience in the deep wild, what I brought back from that, or didn't actually, and the resulting good life creed that I've developed to create meaning and purpose in my life and a way to live. Pardon me. Next is the atomic principle. Everything is made of bits and pieces, including us, and we're about to fall to pieces, each of us. And then the principle of nature, everything has some particular nature, and it's good to recognize what that is. And then the pirate ride, the suggestion that free will is an illusion, a very convincing illusion. And then maturity, and the sub-principles of wisdom and fortitude, where we are mature when we wisely remember our past successes and failures and strive to do better. And then the social principle, we are social creatures, we need each other. We live better when we apply ourselves towards our community. And then after the social principle comes public speaking, a reminder to be very careful what I say, to use few words, carefully chosen words, and to never ever gossip. And then temperance, reminder to be to consume less and to do less, to maybe even be less. Expect less. Just take it easy. Heaven knows I've been going at 500 miles an hour for all my life. I can take it easy for a while. Or maybe for good, especially given that my life's work is done, right? Okay, next comes the horror show. The idea that life is just chock full of terrible things going on all around us and to us. And if it's not happening now, it's coming for you. Us. Me. Next comes that which must be borne, and what we have to bear is the fact of the horror show and the fact of the responsibilities that we've onboarded and assumed and said I do to. Take care of those responsibilities. Be that responsible person. Create that healthy, stable home where stability is more about continuity than the same four walls every day. Next comes the Feast of Offal, which is the expression that I use to describe when we get upset and share our upset with the world. Whereas I prefer to try to hold that in, my upset, and to deal with it in other ways, namely through better living, to maybe living that will help to avoid me getting upset in the first place. But even when I do get upset, and I do, I don't want to others to. I don't want to soil others with it. Nor do I want to participate when others are attempting to soil the world with their upset. I'll be there for them, and I'll give them a hug and offer them a tissue, but when they're done with their upset, but I don't want to consume it because it's a poison of sorts. Next comes distraction, and then agency in the Great Indifference. We distract ourselves all through our lives with everything that we've got that we can do and be and make. And we do that so that we don't have to discover that we as a species are essentially alone with the other species on this planet. There's no one to take care of us, seemingly no God to look after us, to provide justice and to give us eternity. We're on our own. So we distract, so we don't have to see that. So my book is about not distracting, about going out and witnessing that emptiness, and then making something worthwhile of it in a universe where worthwhile doesn't seem to matter. At least not on the big scale of things. Okay, next comes, wow. For just a moment there, I could just see all the layout, all of what's left of our species, imagining some end that's going to come. And why do I get so unsettled and upset about things at work? Just do my best. Just swing the pick in the coal mine. No need to get upset. No need to be so emotionally invested in work that can just simply be done with the swing of a hammer. Wish I could keep this little vision all the time. Next comes the best seat in the house, to not want to be anyone else or be anywhere else or be doing anything else, but to be okay with who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing right here, right now. As I like to say, right who? Just be content with my life, while all the while striving to improve, if that can reconcile. Next comes the Path of Wildness, which is a way to move forward up and into new life, to split life into chapters, to move out of this current circumstance into something new. I was chatting with someone yesterday. I wonder if they could do with something new. Maybe. So next, I know I could. I'm ready for something new. Pardon me. Next comes the risk of avoiding risk. The surface level risks of life are the stuff that we all are trained to go after education, career, home, family, security. The deep risk is the risk of not taking time to find ourselves or to cultivate our identity, to live something more than just life. I know that's not possible, but I think you know what I mean. It's a flowery way to say to have an adventure of self-discovery sometime in life. Because it's not so much that we discover anything, but we make something in the process, right? I don't discover identity. We are creating our identity through our great life adventure, which is coming up. Okay, so there's that. And then the next one is sin and damnation. There are 7 sins in my worldview related to believing things that are untrue, being untrue, and gossiping. These are falsity, credulity, faith, superstition, dogma, authority, and gossip. And the consequence of performing or doing any of these things, any of these sins, is damnation in the here and now. Because I don't think there's any damnation to follow. Unless oblivion is a damnation of sorts. Oh, I need to erase that. Next is, that's the next one, complete oblivion. After death, nothing to follow. No eternity, no reuniting with loved ones, no reconciliation. So we better seek after those things while we have a chance while we're alive. Doesn't seem like we'll get another one. I call that complete oblivion. Next is the great life adventure. I talked about that just a minute ago. I alluded to it. It's one or more experiences in life that help us to present our identity. And then the season of philosophy, a time to record what we've learned along the way. Then the bullseye aim, striving for the mark but missing, usually, mostly. And then the uphill climb, steady trudge, up, up, up. And then arena and utility, keeping our principles handy to use in this arena, this venue of life. And then nothing is enough, the aforementioned suggestion that less is better. It's a lot like temperance, but a little bit different. Whereas temperance is controlling consumption. Nothing is enough suggests that it's endeavoring towards less as an object in its own right. And then finally, the last one is the principle of fun, a reminder to have a good time in the here and now, but also enjoy looking forward and reflecting back. Whew, I think I'll stop now. I'm tired. I just have to do my plan for the day. So I'll finish this. Then I'll start this uploading. I'll read the Bible, Isaiah 56, I think. Then I'll go downstairs and feed the dogs, and then I'm going to fire the computer up, and I'm going to do maybe half an hour of work to try and align some things. Then I should be able to enjoy the day. It's the last day of the 3-day holiday. It's Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day. Take care. Be safe, but not too safe.